So number 7, this is one I've already spoken about on the channel before. So this is Substrata by Biosphere, 1997 ambient album, possibly the best ambient album of all time. Looking back on my sort of top 20 list, I do sort of regret not putting this in over the other Biosphere album I put in there. As I say, I've spoken at length about it. This is kind of the complete opposite of what I mentioned earlier about like albums not belying the nature of the sound. This sounds exactly how it looks. That kind of, you can see that kind of Arctic panorama there. It is exactly that kind of music. It's very cold, frosty sounding ambient, very open and airy. It fits perfectly, and to the point that there is like a subgenre called Arctic ambient, and this album was like one of the kind of things that really spearheaded that kind of sound. In terms of the work, Geir Jensen is the guy's name. Biosphere. He's from Tromsø in Norway, like way above the Arctic Circle. So again, you've got that Arctic element to it. It's just a fucking great album. Like the first track especially, it's not a track, but it sets the tone of the album so well. As the Sun Kissed the Horizon, it's literally just a field recording of what sounds like a dock. You've got like noises of like machinery going on. You can hear kids playing like in the distance. It's just kind of a bit of hustle and bustle, and then there's a plane going overhead that slowly fades out, and that's kind of like the last sort of audible element of the track before it actually gets into the real music. And I say real music loosely, like, there's not a ton of melody on this. But Poa Alpina, when I first heard that song, like that must have been like 15 years or so ago now when I first heard the song, that, like, it sounds so wide open. It's pretty much just like some like mallet hits and like washy pad synth, and that's about it. But my God, like it sets the tone so well for the album. And something that I mentioned on the full review I did, that it does feel like there's kind of like a story almost to the tracks. Like you kind of have chapters in terms of the sides of the album. It feels like it's almost like that sound of the civilization and the hustle and bustle fading away at the end of the first track is almost like someone starting their journey going deeper into the wilderness, and as you get progressively throughout the album, you get further and further away from civilization.
I do like the artwork on that. It's quite. I like the consistency with it as well. The front, the back, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's so minimal, but just the way that it looks, those kind of mountains and the lakes and the snow. Yeah, it's
I always find if yes, you got your front and your back, but a lot of the people that have these big gatefolds, there's so much more you could do with that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
so much more. I reckon there's more they could have done with that.
Oh, there definitely is, but it's not too dissimilar from the original like CD release of it. That was very similar. One thing I will mention that I didn't mention on the review, I've heard a lot of people say that like this is not a very good pressing. I've not had like any issues with it. Like a lot of complaints online that this is like a really badly pressed album and it sounds crap.
Right.
Like I don't get that. Maybe they never heard the album in the first place and didn't know what to expect. But honestly, like, sounds good to me. Like I'm perfectly happy with it. Maybe they just got shitty like turntables.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Worn out needles. So I do notice. So with mine, if I listen to a lot of stuff like that, those ones are starting to wear out a little bit. So I noticed there's some sounds that aren't quite as crisp as they used to sound. So I know I need to update that kind of needle. And they probably had them there for a long time, not realising you have to change them.
Yeah. So buy a new cartridge if you don't like how it sounds. I don't care.